Okay, who here hasn't been to space? Why? You better not throw up on my ship.
Approaching jump in 3, 2, 1.
And here we
go. Had to say. Let's just, and I know we've all kind of heard this already, but let's just listen to what Gunn himself had to say about rebooting the DCU and the things that are going to be coming, and etc., etc., etc. Let's see.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same...
I'm sorry, I don't mean to pause, but I do want to say this. When I watched this video earlier, and I've watched it a couple of times, they put this shit together today. I don't care what anybody says, bro. It's really sloppy. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting, even though Casey Walsh yesterday tweeted out, don't expect some Slate, don't expect it to look like Marvel. If you're expecting it to look like Marvel, you're going to be disappointed. So I kind of tempered my expectations when Casey Walsh tweeted that out yesterday. But this is still not what I expected. I did not expect them to come out and give this half-ass last-minute put-together video and explain what they're going to be doing, because it's cut together, bro. You can see it's cut together. Like, there are moments where it cuts. It cuts, like the video cuts. It's like he said something, but then they cut out certain shit. Like, not certain shit that he revealed. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, you can see how this video is cut together. It's kind of like if I take something out during the editing of one of the clipped videos from the live, and I clip it into its own video, and I cut something out, and it jumps to the next thing I said. You can see the jump, bro. All these fucking jumps here. This was put together at the last minute, as we all kind of suspected was going to happen about the whole last, that he's going to announce on the last day of January and things like that. Like I said, okay.
Actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DC
I do like
continuity.
That. I do like that.
Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam, Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash.
No, what? What does that mean? Like, what does that mean?
Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well.
So Shazam has been his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well? I don't get... Shazam was in the same DCEU as Cavill, Godot, Momoa, Affleck, Miller, and the rest of them, bro. So why get rid of Henry Cavill's Superman? And again, if you just wanted to cast a new Superman for whatever it is you're doing with Superman Legacy, which we don't know shit about besides that he's writing it, and I hate that he's writing it, why not just make Henry Cavill's Elseworld? Like, why take that away from the fans who we just got so much hope from, because we hadn't seen Superman in a decade other than a silhouette, the neck down in Shazam, the silhouette in Peacemaker, or whatever else, the lack thereof of Superman. Why not just put Henry Cavill back in the cape, and the cape, like he said, I've got the cape in the closet. Why not let him pull the cape back out the closet, give us what we got in Black Adam, progress on to that, and just have that be Elseworld? Like, because the way that he's saying Elseworld, he just said it. He's like, Todd Phillips' Joker, Matt Reeves' Batman, or Teen Titans Go. And then to say that Shazam has always been in his own little world, but he connects very well? What the fuck does that even mean? What?
Well, that moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love. that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which...
Okay, I do now the Blue Beetle stuff, the Jaime Reyes stuff, I liked because Gunn did say in an article, I think it was in the Variety article, he said Blue Beetle is set in its own world and fits directly into our DCU. It's kind of basically the same thing he said about Shazam. I don't know what the fuck that means. And I'm fine with the Blue Beetle thing because I'm fine with Blue Beetle. Why? Because we haven't seen Jaime Reyes in that DCEU stuff. We never saw him in the previous iterations of what was DC before the new regime. We never saw Jaime Reyes. We didn't get to see Xolo as Jaime, as Blue Beetle. So that's why I was always like, I guarantee you that Blue Beetle, and you guys know, those of you that have been here, those of you that have heard me talk about Blue Beetle constantly since it's been announced, I've said over and over, I don't think that they don't make Blue Beetle a part of their new DCU. I believed that Blue Beetle was always going to be a part of it, and I'm glad that it is going to be a part of it. That makes sense. The Shazam shit does not to me. It just doesn't. And again, a mediocre... Now, your mileage may vary, but a mediocre Zachary Levi as Billy Batson to me, coming in and continuing to be... I don't like him as Shazam. And I don't want to say just because I don't like him as Shazam, you X him as Shazam. My big thing is you X'd Cavill. You X'd everyone else. And again, I've said this many times. I don't have to have Cavill as Kal-El because we still get Kal-El. We're still getting a Superman film. We are still getting Superman continued on. But if you were going to make Shazam an Elseworld thing, make Cavill an Elseworld deal. And maybe you might even be thinking, because it kind of just dawned on me, you might even be thinking to yourself, well, that wouldn't make sense because people would then favor the Cavill Superman over whatever new Superman. They'd be calling that Superman like the fake Superman, the Great Value, or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that could have been an issue. Maybe it could have. You know, that kind of just hit me. Maybe it could have been an issue, but I feel like if you can do two Batmans, if you can do the Batman, because people are already going into Batman 2 or the Brave and the Bold that they're doing with preconceived thoughts on Pattinson's Batman. Some people, after Pattinson's Batman, saw Pattinson as the definitive Batman now. So now we're getting the Brave and the Bold iterations with Batman and Damian Wayans, and it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I said, this really didn't clear shit up. It just gave us projects like
leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters.
I like it.
This
I
what
like
I'm about
it.
to tell you is
I
a part
like
of
it.
the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature
Keep
Commandos.
Keep it.
Creature Commandos.
Now, bro, I get it. And now, don't get me wrong. Listen here. I'm not really familiar with the Creature Commandos like that. Like, there are some characters I do know. Obviously, like Weasel, Frankenstein, and the others. There are a few characters I know. But like, I'm gonna be honest with you. This, to me, should not have been on the do it. You want to do it. That's great. I don't think it should have been in the things announced today. I think the things announced today should have brought hype, should have brought excitement, should have brought expectation, and it also should have brought ease. It should have eased a few people's minds. It should have been like, like a lot of those people that are still upset. Now, here's the thing, too, when it comes to easing folks' minds. Some people, no matter how dope whatever it is the rest of this stuff is going to be, or how dope some of this stuff is going to be, some people are still going to hate Gunn. Some people are still going to be saying, fire James Gunn. Some people are not going to be able to accept the new reboot. And again, to those people, I say, well, enjoy whatever it is you're watching. I, on the other hand, am one of the people that said DC needed to be rebooted. It needed to be rebooted. They needed this. But at the same time, this, you could have kept to announce later on, in my opinion. Again, if you're looking, I'm not trying to shit on anybody looking for this. If you're looking for it, fantastic. But am I going to be tuned in to? Don't expect me to be doing reviews of Creatures Commandos. I'm not. I'm just telling you right now, I'm not.
It's an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action.
Okay,
next,
I know I'm pausing a lot, but we've all seen this video, so it really doesn't matter. I like that too. I like the fact that they are going to be using the voices of the live action actors and actresses and using them in the animation side of things. The reason I like that is because I like a connective shared universe. That's one of the things I love about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, again, do I like the whole Elseworld things like Constantine, Keanu Reeves' Constantine 2 that's coming, the Batman 2, Fale Abdul Joker's 2. I like all the Elseworld stuff because then it allows you to do, like I said, like a solo Superman film, or it allows you to do a solo something that you could have never done before because it was connected to your connected universe. So like a Superman Red Sun or something like that. I like that Elseworld thing. And I like the fact that, again, that they're using voice actors that are portraying them in live action to do the animation stuff, because as Gunn has said, this is not the first time he said it. He said it a couple weeks back too. The video games, the animation, the films, it's all going to connect into their shared universe. And I like that. I really do.
Project Up is Waller.
I like it.
This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some Viola Davis, bro. I love Viola Davis. There's Angela Bassett when it comes to my favorite actresses. Then Viola Davis is, bro, she's right there. She's right there. What she did as Annalise Keating in How to Get Away with Murder will never be topped. Will never be topped. She's amazing, and she's amazing as Amanda Waller as well. We all kind of suspected a while ago when the reboot was announced that Viola Davis was going nowhere as Amanda Waller, that she was probably going to stay as Amanda Waller. I'll tell you this though. An Amanda Waller series? No. Maybe, depending on what this could look like. Again, if you're going to do an Amanda Waller series, save this announcement for later down the line, James. And the reason I say that is because you're trying to incite excitement. You're trying to get people on board with what you're trying to do. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Are you checking for an Amanda? I'm going to poll it up. Let's go to the fucking polls, because I got to know. Let's go to the polls. I have to know. Are you checking? And that's not, before I even put this out there, that's not to say that I don't like Amanda Waller. I think Amanda Waller is a good character. And I think Viola Davis portrays her very, very, very well. But are you checking for a Waller show? I just want to know. Are you checking for Waller? You guys tell me. Because again, this was one I thought to myself, James, you should have announced this one later on. Now, could her show be in the vein of a deal where we could see her going through like a Nick Fury type thing, going through recruiting different heroes or ex-heroes or whatever to her project? Is that exciting enough as a fucking show though, bro? That's what I'm saying. Is that exciting enough as a fucking show? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm getting at. Like I could see like Waller showing up like Nick Fury at the end of certain projects or at the end of certain shows or whatever. Her showing up and then, you know, being the Val or the Nick Fury of DC, and then having her play a larger role in certain movies. But a series? I don't know. I don't fucking know. Like I said, I really like her as a character, and I like Viola Davis as her. But a whole series, I'll have to see what it's about. We'll have to see what it's about. I'm not knocking it. I'm not saying no, I'm not gonna watch it. I'm not saying no, I'm not gonna watch it. Like I'm not watching the creators or the first shit. I would watch this, but to keep my interest, you would have to really bring the shit, bro. You would have to bring the shit to keep my interest. Let's see what you guys are saying here on the poll. We've got 53% of you said yes. 47% of you said no. And again, that's why I went to the polls, because I want to know. Let me know. Y'all looking forward to it? Hey, that's fucking fantastic. I'm glad that a lot of people are looking forward to seeing an Amanda Waller show. For me personally, you're going to have to show me something. You got to show me what it is we're doing in this Amanda Waller show. Like, again, I like the character just popping up, popping up and then playing a larger role in a movie or something like that. But a whole series, yeah, what Rhyme said. I would watch it. I would watch it, seeing as how it's Viola playing the character. That's the draw for me. That's the draw. It's Viola. And I would like to see her be Amanda Waller for longer than a few seconds in a post-credit scene or a few seconds in like Suicide Squad or whatever. So again, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying bring the noise. Bring the noise. Bring the noise with it. Let's finish what James is fucking saying.
Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it.
I have a question, James. I have just a quick question here, James. So Peacemaker's staying too? I mean, we kind of already knew this. Per my time to shine hello a couple weeks ago, we already knew Peacemaker's staying. Because what did James just fucking say there?
By Crystal Henry. We have Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker.
With members of Team Peacemaker. And if you don't think John Cena is going to be back as Peacemaker, you're smoking dick. He's coming back as Peacemaker too. So it's like certain toys James Gunn kept, and he got rid of the other ones. He kept his toys. All the toys that he bought into the toy chest, he kept. But all the shit that he's not filling, it's like boom, boom, boom. So I said this last time we talked about DC, and I'm going to say it again. Maybe Josh over at Den of Nerds was onto something when he said, now let's rewind that. Josh didn't say from himself. Josh wasn't speaking for himself when he said, I heard from credible insiders and scoopers that James Gunn doesn't like Henry Cavill. He never once said James Gunn just doesn't like Henry Cavill. That's coming from Josh over at Den of Nerds. No, he said, I heard he doesn't. I'm starting to believe that shit. I don't really care what James said, bruh. Like, because James also came out today and said, we didn't fire Henry Cavill. There was never, hold on. I want to make sure I'm getting that exactly right, what he said. Because when he said that shit, I said, what? He said, Henry Cavill was not fired. Henry was just not hired to be Superman in the Superman movie. There was never a deal in place for another movie. James. Now, we've talked about this shit too. When we talked about Black Adam, and I said that maybe Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, not maybe, it's kind of seemed like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was trying to stage a coup over there at DC. Like he wanted to be the news, he wanted to be DC. He wanted to take DC down the direction he felt DC should have been going. So the rumor out there was that Cavill, Gal Gadot, and a couple others kind of got together outside of Warner Brothers in DC, and he had Henry make that announcement. He had Henry, blah, 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 blah. But I disagree with that. I disagree with, like, first of all, I'm not a little kid. I'm not stupid. You're not going, I'm not saying kids are stupid, but you're not going to insult my intelligence as if I am a child. And the reason I say that is because in order for Cavill to show up in Black Adam, that had to be approved. In order for Cavill to make the announcement he made, I'm pretty sure that had to be approved. So, it's weird that Peacemaker's staying and all that shit, but you're not. And then saying that Cavill was never fired, he was just not hired. What? What does that mean? Like, what do you mean he was never hired or fired? He just wasn't hired, sir. Did he get paid for Black Adam? Then he was hired for Black Adam. Like if he got paid to do Black Adam, he was hired for Black Adam. Not to mention, he even filmed scenes for The Flash that have been since taken out of The Flash since this new announcement. But he even filmed scenes for The Flash. So no. That's why I said this whole thing. I feel like this shit was put together Last night, bro. Last night.
And this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy.
Before we get into that, because this one, oh God. Before we get into it, Rhyme said, did I hear right that Rock's ex-wife was Cavill's manager and he let her go after the Superman debacle? You heard right, because I heard the same thing. So I want to say that you heard right, unless we're both just hearing some lies. I want to say you heard right. And then we see we've got Black Cinema Critic that says, sorry, bro, but you're being real out of pocket with this one. Henry Cavill was gone before James got hired, so he had no approval for that. But see, here's the thing. I wouldn't even say that that's being out of pocket. Because we heard from My Time to Shine Hello and many, many others that Cavill was back. And even regardless of it being under James or not under James, they still allowed for Cavill to make the announcement he made on Instagram, telling everyone that he was coming back. They still allowed for Cavill to come back in Black Adam. They still allowed for Cavill to film scenes for The Flash. Why go through all that just to say, oh, no, he was never even hired? Like, we got rid of him a long time ago. I'm sorry. And no, I will never buy that they did not have discussions with Cavill to come back. I will never buy that. I will never buy that they didn't have conversations with Henry Cavill to come back. Because, again, I don't see Cavill... Like, for us to believe that, we would have to then believe that Cavill was secretly back there trying to stage a coup with The Rock, if that's even to be believed. And I just don't see Cavill as the type of I don't see that in his... Now, I don't know Henry Cavill, but I don't see it in his character. He doesn't seem like the type of person to try to sneakily do something behind a studio's back. When a whole 10 years has gone by and we hadn't seen him as Superman, where we just saw all these interviews of him kept saying, I still got the cape in the closet. I would love to come back. I would love to do this. I would love to do that. Blah, 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 blah. If that was the case, why not stage the coup then? Why not try to insert yourself then? Like, again, you might see it as out of pocket. I see it as somebody over at DC is not telling the truth about what happened with Henry Cavill. It doesn't make sense to me that you just get rid of Henry Cavill after all the things that he went and did. The announcement, Black Adam, filming for The Flash, then to just say no? Like, no, that doesn't make sense to me.
Being written by me, I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time. Okay.
Let's rewind.
Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by...
Wait. He said, that's Cowboy's mistake by releasing the video on Instagram. No one told him to do that. But how do we know that? How do we know no one told Henry Cavill to do that? Again, I don't see it in Cavill's character to just go out and just do something just to fucking do it. He wasn't Superman for 10 years. So what stopped him in that 10 years from doing that exact same thing? In that 10 years, he was not Superman. What stopped him from doing that exact same thing? The only thing that prompted from my point of view, my humble point of view, because I don't know either, because I don't work for DC. I don't know Henry, and I don't know The Rock. But from my point of view, in order for Cavill to post that video, somebody somewhere had to approve that. Someone somewhere had to approve it.
Out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU.
That's another point. I know I keep pausing it, but that's another point. Gray, Henry Cavill left an $8 million a season Witcher role for an appearance in Black Adam. He would not have done that if someone over at DC wouldn't have told him, brother, you're back. Because it's not as if he had issues with The Witcher. He loved playing his role at The Witcher. He loved doing that. Now, only thing he has to fall back on is the Warhammer stuff with Amazon. So thank you, Gray. That's a very good point what Gray just said. He would not have done that if if someone wouldn't have greenlit him coming back as Superman. I just don't see that. Okay, so let's we'll jump into
it is a fantastic
now let's jump into this shit. And I'm gonna pause it again because he's about to say something at the beginning.
Okay. Next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay.
Okay. No. Yes to Superman. Yes to the Superman Legacy. Yes to all that. No to James Gunn directing a Superman film. No. I do not think James Gunn should be directing a Superman film. James Gunn is directing a lot. And I'm sorry, not directing, writing the Superman film. I don't want him writing the Superman film. Why? The type of writer that James Gunn is, again, we'll have to wait and see. I just don't see him bringing... I don't see him writing Superman right. I don't. I don't want Superman to be Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't want him to be Suicide Squad. I don't want him to be Peacemaker. I want him to be Supes. I don't want him to be Superman. Now, again, as I've said since day one of James taking over, I do trust James Gunn as the CEO. I do like James Gunn. I just don't want James Gunn like Lobo. Write the shit out of Lobo. But him writing Superman is not going to stay true, in my opinion, to Superman. Now, you may think differently. You may think, oh, he's the perfect guy to write Superman. Okay, that's great. But for me personally, I don't think he's going to stay true to the character. I don't think he's going to do him justice. I think that he's... Again, we'll have to wait and see, but I just think that Guardians of the Galaxy, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad are not films that tonally speak to what a Superman film should be. That's just my opinion. You may think differently.
Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie.
Now, I love this. I love the Lanterns. It still should be a movie. It still should be a film. But I love the fact that what it's going to be, because that seems to be the only thing that he's announced right now that seems to have any connection to whatever it is, the Gods and Monsters Part 1 or whatever it is, whatever he called it, that they're trying to show, because we don't know anything about Superman other than the fact that he's writing it. And the things he stated in the article. But other than that, he's writing it and the things he did state in the article, we really don't know much about Superman. But it seems like the Superman film being first is going to maybe set up the Gods and Monsters events thing that's going to eventually happen, and whatever it is that the Lanterns see that he talked about there, maybe that's going to be the thing that obviously that would connect their film to possibly Superman and the wider things going on within the story they're trying to tell moving forward to. But I really do like the fact that we're going to get to see the Lanterns, not just one Lantern, but several Lanterns. Obviously, John Stewart and Hal, John being my favorite. We're going to get to see some of these Lanterns and things like that. But I don't know outside of that he named anything else that really speaks to the wider story being told here with their reboot for DC. This one I'm high on too.
Called The Authority. The Authority
yes, sir.
is
the
a passion project of mine.
Yes.
It's based on the...
This is another. The Authority? Gunn can write The Authority, bro. Gunn should write The Authority. And I like the fact that he called it a passion project, because this is right up Gunn's alley. Krypton, Superman, stay away from him. Authority, bro, this is up Gunn's alley. If you know anything about the Authority, This is up Gunn's alley.
Marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise.
Oh, he's moving on. Okay, The Authority definitely has to be a rated R type film. I don't know that The Authority needs. Well, I don't know that The Authority needs it. And it should be rated R. And I feel like with Gunn doing it and everything like that, it probably will be rated R, but it should be rated R. To answer Raymond there said, but do we need an authority? But do we need The Authority though? My suspicion with The Authority is maybe we could see The Authority. I don't know. I really don't have. What was I thinking earlier? I thought maybe we could see The Authority. But we would have to have a Justice League team in order for that to happen. And it seems like we don't have a team. Or maybe they're not the Justice League just yet. Maybe they are. I mean, because if Batman's got Damian Wayne, maybe they already are the Justice League. But it seems like this whole thing with the mascara is somewhat of an origin. So no. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see about The Authority, but I am excited for it.
Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of
And I hope it's this dark.
The introduction of the DCU's...
I don't know what the fuck happened.
And
Oh, look at that. And here we go from the Joker.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. Mere HBO television series called Lantern. Green Lantern, but this is of they did Authority and will fix it, known as Themyscira, which is the Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is the break.
Yes, Johnny. He's basically doing Superman versus Elite with the authorities. Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking something like that earlier, like we could see them being the antagonist in the film more than anything, for sure. And I agree with Black Cinema too. The Crime Syndicate would have been dope too. The Crime Syndicate would have been extremely dope to see. Blues House said the Authority is the annihilasis of the Justice. Yeah, that's antithesis of the Justice League. Yeah, that's why I was saying. But that's why I was thinking to myself that the League established by this time, because then that would be really cool to see the Authority go against the League. But I don't know. We'll have to wait to see if the League is even established or anything like that.
Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of...
I'm rewinding this because this is the thing that I'm most excited about. I am most excited about this right here.
With all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is the Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line. And so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family.
I love it. Love it. I love that. Okay. And the reason I love it is because I fucking love Damian. I think Damian is... I love him as Robin. This means that we are getting an older, more seasoned, grizzled Batman. I love that too. That's why I was kind of thinking to myself, wait, so is the League established then? But then you start talking about the stuff with the mascara and Wonder Woman, so maybe they're not established or anything like that. But I love this. I really, really do, because it's like he said, starting the Bat family, bro. And how many times have we said we want the Bat family in live action? I would love to see the Bat family in live action. So I'm really high on that one. I think that next to Superman is next to the Lanterns and then Superman is my most anticipated thing that he named. I really want to see this Batman Brave and the Bold. I think again that Damian Wayne is such a great Robin, such a great character, such a great little shit. I love him. And then the fact that they're basing it off of, Morrison's comics, I really love that as well. Yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to the Brave and the Bold. And I like and they didn't name it Batman. It's not, it's named, I like the name for it right now, Brave and the Bold. I really do. So it's really cool. And I'm pretty dope. I'm pretty hype about the Booster Gold stuff as well.
Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series.
And one of the things we've heard about the Booster Gold stuff, rumored-wise, rather, is that the original Blue Beetle, help me, Ted, yes, is supposed to be in the Booster Gold series. He said this was a series, right? I think he said this is a series. But that the original Blue Beetle is supposed to show up in the Booster Gold stuff, and it's supposed to have ties to Blue Beetle. And I believe that the original Blue Beetle is also going to be mentioned in the Blue Beetle film with Jaime Reyes. So pretty interesting. Yeah, Ted, thank you, Ted Korg. Ted is supposed to be mentioned, and not just mentioned, but be maybe a cameo. I'm not sure if it's a cameo or if it's more than just a cameo in the Booster Gold series, but he's also supposed to be mentioned and have ties and connections into the Blue Beetle film. So we'll see if that is really true.
One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
So that's, that's the things that were announced today. And, some people are over the moon for it. Some people are underwhelmed. Some people are right in the middle. And I'm probably one of the ones that's right in the middle because there were some dope things that were mentioned. The Lantern series, that should be a movie, but the Lantern series, Brave and the Bold, The Authority. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the Booster Gold series. Like I said, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller, I love. Give me some juice with that, and I can be there for that as well. But some of the other things, and Superman, obviously, once I know more about it, but the other things outside of that, it's like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely still here for it, but it's like it's still mid. It's still mid for me. It was still wasn't that. It wasn't what I expected it to be. Again, this video still seemed like it was put together by someone on YouTube and just was going to be a regular old YouTube video more than anything. I was expecting a little bit more pizzazz. I was expecting a little bit more boom, shock. Here's your, shut up now. Yeah, but I do like it. I like it. I like it. I don't dislike it. I do not dislike it. I like the direction thus far. So it's pretty interesting. We'll have to wait to see what else comes out of all of this as far as casting announcements and things like that. Who could possibly be playing Superman? Who's going to play Batman? Who's going to play Damian? Who's going to play Supergirl? And who's going to play Wonder Woman? And, it's seeming like in the article, and I'm not going to read the articles because that Variety article is quite long, but it seems like in the Variety article, it seems like they kind of left it open for Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and some of the others, if they want to return in some fashion, probably once they get closer to the Crisis stuff, because James Gunn did say in the original statement when he talked about letting go of Henry Cavill and some of the others, that they did discuss future projects. They did discuss, even with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, with Black Adam, future projects. So we could be seeing them come back in the future, maybe for some Crisis events, if that's something that they're going to do, or something along those lines. But I feel like once audiences get a new look at whoever they get as Wonder Woman, and if this Paradise Island is going to be great, are people going to forget about Gal as Wonder Woman? Have people already forgotten about Gal as Wonder Woman? Because there are some people that didn't even like Gal as Wonder Woman. So, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. It's still vague. It's still very vague. We still really don't know exactly what is what, how this is going to work, what is this. All we got was a few announcements for some projects, and that certain things are going to be Elseworld, and that Shazam fits into it, or however he said it. I didn't like it. But we'll definitely see. Like I said, I'm excited for the Lanterns series. I'm excited for Brave and the Bold. I'm excited for Superman Legacy once we have more about it. Even Swamp Thing. I'm excited for the horror element that could be, or however they're gonna make that. I'm excited for it as well. Like I said, I'm hopeful, and I've always been hopeful. If you've been here for a while, if you've been subscribed to this channel, or maybe not even subscribed, but just checking out the channel every now and then, I am one of the only ones over here that is high as hell for DC. I love DC. I've mentioned it many, many, many times before that I believe DC has better characters and stories than Marvel does. It's just that the DC regime that helmed it before was inadequate, and they could not tell those stories properly, or could not give us those stories, give us those characters properly. But I do believe that DC has the better characters and the better stories. That's just my personal opinion. I love Marvel. Love the characters, love the stories being told there. But DC really does have some amazing stories and characters that can be told and brought into this. For sure. So we're definitely going to see what's going to be coming out with some of this stuff. I see Stevie said, I just hope that the Lanterns are done decent. Black Cinema Critic said, you got to say something for Comic-Con, or save something for Comic-Con. That's going to be, that's definitely going to be the big rollout. And I'm predicting probably San Diego Comic-Con is when they're going to do it. SDCC is probably when they're going to roll out a lot more stuff. They're going to roll out some casting people and things like that. SDCC is probably going to belong to DC this year. Depending on what Marvel gives us, I think SDCC is really going to be the year for DC. But again, like I said, let me know all your thoughts down below, what you guys are thinking of what of the if you want to call it the slate that James Gunn rolled out for everyone. What are some of the things that you're most anticipating? What are some of the things that you feel that could have been kept off, or maybe saved, or maybe given us something else with a little bit more juice and hype to it? But again, question is always for you guys. Let me know down below in the comments what you guys are thinking of the newest announcements for the rebooted DC universe.